This is a command that you can issue at the privilege mode.
Yes.
What debug IP rip. Are you familiar with this? Some of you are, some of you are not. So what it will show is what exactly is the protocol doing in the background. So we are familiar by issuing the command show IP route, show IP protocols, and show running configuration what exactly is appearing in the foreground. But in the background, whether it is receiving an update or it is sending an update, this is what will give you, this command will start giving you. Okay, this is where you start getting it. And to stop it, what do you do? Undebug all or unall, because un is unique here. Okay, so we'll try that also. Here, what will it say when you start doing this thing? It will say sending on this interface, out of this interface, this particular entry. Whatever it is sending, it will show you. Whatever it is receiving, it will show you. As live, as if the packet has come in and it is decoded and showing it to you. So we will do the practical and we will see that. Okay. What is R1? Route?
No.
Of course. R1, R2, R3 are running grip version 1. They are running grip version 1. So in this case, R1 is a boundary between two networks.
Yes, sir.
So it is automatically going to summarize. Here.
Yes, sir.
And likewise R3
Yes, sir.
is also there. So what will it summarize? It will summarize.
Yes.
And then we look at R2. So what will it say? Huh? It will say 172.16.0.0. Right? Run to rip
Yes, sir.
via
20.
on and equal path.
Sir.
That is what it will interpret it as. Yes, sir?
Yes, sir.
This will interpret it as the equal path. For the destination, what? This. Right? Now, if there is a router here, R4, then this is 40 network. And not forget about this. This is just a switch here on a 40 network. And then what do you have here? A PC. PC1 is connected. Having a source IP of 40.0.0.1. If it now wants to send a packet to whom? Some PC. Right? So basically here what PCs can come? 172.16.10.2 to what?
62.
62. This can be a number of PCs that can be going under this. And likewise here what can be 66 to
91.
196.
190.
Yes, sir.
126.
66 to
126.
126. Right?
Yes.
Now let's say this one we want to send it to let's say 2. So it forms a source IP, this destination IP of 172.16.10.2. Now does it AND operation?
Yes.
It knows that it has to go to the default gateway. Does the ARP
Yes.
get the ARP entry? Get the MAC address and send the packet to the router 2.
Yes.
The packet is the frame is received by the router, decapsulated and given to the IP layer.
Clear.
The IP layer checks the destination IP address of the packet, which is 10.2. It says, okay, which network does it belong to? Does it have any information on the subnetwork? No. So it says, okay, it belongs to these major networks. So let me load balance it. Right? Suppose this is sending how many packets? 10 packets. So it will send 5 packets here and sometimes send 5 packets here. For it is just assuming that to this destination, which destination? It can go via 2 paths. So it will start load balancing it. Understand?
Yes, sir.
You remember the last exercise, the 10th exercise in the video?
Yes, sir.
There were 4 multiple paths from R1 to R6,
Yes, sir.
from 10 network to 100 network.
Yes, sir.
Right? So what did R1 know in that? That there are 4 paths to 100 network.
Yes, sir.
So what is R2 knowing for this network? There are 2 paths. So it will start load balancing.
Yes, sir.
This is a drawback.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, that's why this is the limitation, and that's where RF version 1 fails. So this is known as discontiguous networks. Discontiguous networks, which are networks, same subnets are spread out. So with the difference of 2 different other networks.
Yes.
Had they been together, right, in the same sequence, right, this would have been here and there would have been some other networks, then it would not have created problem. That would not have been discontiguous. You understand? This is separate from this because they are separated by 2 different networks. That's why we call it discontiguous.
Yes, sir.
But in the previous example, what we had done on R1, we had created 4 subnets of the same network.
Yes, sir.
Was it discontiguous? No.
Yes.
Was it discontiguous? No. And then next to that, what we had created R1, R2 and R3. What we had done on R1, we had created 4 subnets. Okay, and R2 and R1 was connected to 20. Was it discontiguous? No. Because all the same subnets were on the same router or in the same vicinity. They were not separated by a major network. So keep that thing in mind.
Yes, sir.
Contiguous and discontiguous networks. What else did we try that yesterday?
We tried with different topologies and different subnet maps.
The
Same thing means to come to a particular conclusion.
conclusion.
So,
Sir, in this router's interface has /27 and you /26. Same then.
Okay, we can leave that. But this is discontiguous with the different networks in between. So good,
Yes.
clear about this?
Yes, sir.
So this pretty much wraps up the RIP version 1 concept. Alright, so now we move to RIP version 2. But before we move to RIP version 2, I want to tell you some important things. Alright?
Yes.
All these things have been important, but they are also important. Some concepts that you need to know. These were more important. So RIP, couple of properties of RIP. R2. Why do we use RIP? RIP is a routing protocol. RIP is a routing protocol. It is used for breaking layer 3 loops. It is used for breaking layer 3 loops. So let's say you have a network here. Okay. What is this network? 20.0.0.0/8. What is this network? /8. Is there a loop here? There is no loop here.
no.
Right? So R2 will install 10 network with a hop count of 1,
Yes, sir.
and R1 will install 30 network with a hop count of 1.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Is there a loop now? Possibility is there.
Yes.
There is a possibility of loop. So R1 will install 30 network with a hop count of 1. So what is the possibility? R2 is advertising it with a hop count of 1.
Yes, sir.
It will install with a hop count of 1.
Yes, sir.
R2 is advertising 30 network with a hop count of 1 to this one.
Yes, R3.
R3 will install it with a hop count of 1. Will advertise.
Hop count of 2.
So which one will it prefer? This
Yes,
one.
sir.
Hop count of 1. Understand?
Yes, sir.
This is the basic concept.
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is not considered equal path. Is it?
No.
It is not equal path. It is two different paths. Now if this fails, then this will take over.
Yes, sir.
Alright?
Yes, sir.
This will take over. Hop count of 2
Yes, sir.
will come up. So this is, first of all, you should be clear. Spanning tree, you've studied.
Yes, sir.
Okay, spanning tree is used for breaking layer 2 loops.
Yes.
A routing protocol is used for breaking layer
Yeah,
3
three
loops.
loops.
Okay, this should be clear. Next, in RIP, the maximum hop count is 16. Maximum hop count is 16 or 15. Acceptable is 15.
Yes.
Is 15. Right? So, alright, before that, let's go again to this one. R1, R2. So what network does R1 know by default? Two networks. R2?
20 and 30.
R1 doesn't know 30 and R2 doesn't know
10.
10. So for that we use RIP.
Yes, sir.
You use RIP. Now while using RIP, right, R1 is going to advertise 10 network to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what have we learned till now? Some raw definition that whatever whatever is in your routing table, you advertise to your neighbor.
Yes, sir.
Right? So as such, R3 is supposed to advertise this to 10 network to this with hop count of 2.
Yes, sir.
This was hop count of
1.
see. That is supposed to do, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
But R2's neighbor is R3.
R3.
R2's neighbor is R1 also.
Yes, sir.
So it can do this also, right? It can do that, right? Why not?
Yes, sir.
It can do that.
Yes, sir.
But as a rule of a rep, you from the thing that you learn from a neighbor, you don't advertise it to the same neighbor. You understand?
Yes, sir.
What R2 learned from R1, it is not going to advertise back to R1. This is known as split horizon. Clear?
Yes,
This
sir.
is known as split horizon. Whatever you learn from your neighbor, you do not advertise to the neighbor back. So R2 is advertising R1 what?
30.
30 network. So R1 is not supposed to advertise to R2 what?
30 network.
30 network. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Further, so this split horizon, you understand?
Yes.
Splitting the horizon. This is known as splitting horizon. Okay. Next. What is this? 42. This is a 40 network. Right? Now what happens in this case is R1 is advertising 10 network with a hop count of
1.
R2 is advertising with a hop count of installing with a hop count of 1. Installing with a hop count of 2. Advertising with a hop count of Installing with hop count of
3.
3. Yes, sir.
right. So there will be a case when somebody will be advertising with hop count of 15.
Yes, sir.
As it goes continues to go.
Yes, sir.
So that particular router will install with hop count of 15.
15.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
But when next router that it is trying to advertise, what will it advertise? 15 plus 1, 16?
16.
Or this router will ignore it, saying that, oh, this is unreachable. So what is the maximum that we can advertise? Legal, which will be accepted.
15.
15 is the one that can be advertised because 15 will be received and installed as 15. But then that router will add one and advertise.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The receiver will say, oh,
Sure, for me. It's unreachable.
so this is for what? 15 is for what? 10 network, right?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, it does not send to separate mask. Okay? 10.0.0.0 at a hop count of 15. This is installed.
Yes, sir.
Via what? FA 0/0. Via whatever it is. Clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
This network is not in. This is information is received in this direction. Clear? Which network? 10.
10.
Was sent with a hop count of 1, sent with a hop count of 2, sent with a hop count of 3, sent with a hop count of 15. Installed as 15.
Yes, sir.
But when it forwarded into this next router, added with a hop count of 16. They said, oh, 10 network is unreachable for me.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
So what is the maximum hop count that you will see in a routing table?
15.
15. That means, can we see an entry like 120/15?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can we see an entry like 120/10?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Can we see 120/16?
No.
We cannot. Right.
Yes, sir.
This clear?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Next thing, we have just learned two properties of RIP, which are common to RIP version 1 and RIP version 2. What is this? Split horizon and
Maximum.
maximum hop count of
15.
15. Fine.
Yes, sir.
So on the same thing, so what was split horizon? You do not tell the neighbor the same thing, what you learn from it.
Yes, sir.
But there's another modification of that is split horizon with Poisson's reverse. Split horizon with Poisson's reverse. So what is the case in this case? We said R2 will not advertise back to 10.
Yes.
Will not advertise back to R1 about what? 10 network. But in this case, what was that? That was known as split horizon.
Yes, sir.
But now we are saying that it will advertise. But with a hop count of 16.
Okay.
With a hop count of 16.
Yes, sir.
So R1 will say, oh, from 10 network is definitely not reachable via R2. Understand?
Yes, sir.
So this is known as split horizon with Poisson reverse. So what is R2 doing? Poisoning R1's mind, saying that 10 network is not reachable via me.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
So we have learned split horizon. Split horizon, simple split horizon means that you do not advertise.
The same network that you have now.
Then we understood another concept. The maximum count of RIP is 15. That means if you advertise 16, that means it is unreachable. Using that concept and the first concept, we merge them together. We say, okay, the neighbor will advertise back, but with a hop count of 16. Which R1 will say, oh, this is unreachable. 10 network is unreachable via R2.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
This is another concept. So, split horizon counting to hop count of 16 and split horizon. Okay. Now, all these methods, split horizon and split horizon with Poisson's reverse, are used for breaking loops which are directly connected between these two devices, right? R1 and R2 for breaking loops here. But if you had a situation like this, right? So how and this would keep on incrementing. The hop count would keep on incrementing. So R1 is sending to R2. R2 is not sending to R1, but R2 is sending to R3,
Yes.
and R3 is sending to R1.
Yes.
So R1 what it had sent to R2, R2 did send it back,
Yes.
but R1 got it indirectly from somebody else.
Yes.
Now you cannot take care of this by split horizon with Poisson's reverse or split horizon.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
What split horizon said, what R1 is telling to R2, R2 is not supposed to tell it.
Yes.
R2 is not telling it.
Yes.
But R2 is telling to R3 and R3 is coming back to it.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So how do you take care of it? Okay, here in case of this what happens, this advertises with the hop count of 1, this is comes with 1,
Yes, sir.
advertises 2,
Yes. R3.
this advertises 3,
Yes, sir.
4,
Yes.
5, 6, this will continue to 50
Yes.
and then the loop will break.
Yes.
Right? Maximum hop count will be 50. This is known as counting to infinity. So, in RIP, another question. What is infinity?
60.
Right.
Yes.
For RIP, infinity is 16.
16.
16 is unreachable. Can we reach infinity?
No.
Can we reach infinity? For RIP, infinity is 16.
16.
Up count of 16 is infinity.
Yes.
So that's why we say counting to infinity. What is counting to infinity? Counting to 16. Alright?
Yes, sir.
Split horizon. Maximum hop count is 16.
15.
Maximum hop count of 15. 16 is illegal, unreachable. Split horizon with Poisson reverse.
Yes. And
Alright. Counting to infinity. Split horizon and split horizon with Poisson reverse used for breaking loops between immediate neighbors.
Yes.
Right? Split horizon and counting to infinity used for breaking loops with indirect neighbors. Right? So these are not direct neighbors. Whatever it is sending, it is getting indirect loops. So this is indirect loops. Alright?
Yes, sir.
Next thing, timers. So R1 is going to send about information about this to R2
Yes.
every
30 seconds.
30 seconds. So this is one timer
Yes.
known as update timer. Update timer. Alright?
Yes, sir.
Now suppose R1 sends this information to R2. Send this information to R2 and what happens in that case? It's happy. In next another 30 seconds it is supposed to send again. And if so this is sent in 30 seconds. Now again it is supposed to send here. When this information is received by R2, what does it do? It resets the counter. You've seen the show IP route, right?
Yes.
Show IP route, the entry, the timer keeps on decrementing and then when it receives it, it resets.
Yes.
So in case it is not, so let's put a timeline here. So what is this? 0. This is what? 30. This is 60. This is 90. 120. 150. 180. 210. And let's say 240. So an update goes here. Fine. R2 resets the counter. Another goes here. Again resets the counter. Another goes there. So this is the how it has to be normal. Normally the case has to be, right? But in case now first of all, it did not send at 30, and it sent at 60. What will happen? It will again reset the counter. Understand?
Yes.
And if it does not send at 60 but send at 90, it will again reset the counter. Again 120, it will reset the counter. 150, it will reset the counter. But if it does not receive still 180, it will say, oh, probably this network is unreachable, has gone down. Right? It has gone down. And it will show it in your routing table. Probably the network is down. it will not delete it from its routing table. Okay. So for how many updates will it wait? 6 updates.
After 180.
For 180 seconds, it will say, okay, I have to still wait 6 updates of each 30 seconds. It will wait for the update to come. If it is not coming, then it will mark it as invalid. And then it will mark it as invalid, but it will not remove from routing table. And then wait for how many updates more? 2 more updates before it deletes it from the routing table. Understand?
Yes.
So,
So these are. So this is known as update timer. Invalid timer means 180 seconds. Understand? Invalid timer is 180 seconds. And flush timer is 240 seconds. So after how much time of the invalid timer expiring will the route get deleted from the routing table?
60 seconds.
60 seconds. It's not 240 seconds after 180 seconds. It is 60 seconds after 180 seconds have expired. That means in all how many updates have you missed? 8.
8.
6. When you have missed 6, you are marking it as invalid. When you have missed 8, then you are deleting it. Understand?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So don't get confused that after 180 seconds you have to wait for 240 seconds. Okay? Clear?
Yes.
Update timer, invalid timer, and flush timer. Invalid timer, you will keep the entry, but you will. Okay. Other thing that we want to try in an experiment or practical is when a router is not receiving. So R2 was sending information to R3. R2 was sending information to R3
Yes, sir.
about the same network.
Yes.
Huh? So R3 was depending on R2's viewer
Yes, sir.
about the DIN network.
Yes, sir.
Now if R2 has not received it for 180 seconds, we want to see the effect on R3. So we will characterize it in the practical. What happens? Okay? What happens in that case? So we want to check, does R2 after not receiving it for 180 seconds send a route with a 10 network with a hop count of 16?
Yes.
So it is going to tell R3 that 10 is no longer reachable by me. How is it going to tell? By sending a hop count of 16. Now we want to see whether it does it after 180 seconds or it does it after 240 seconds. That is what we will see in the practical.